Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tribes of Light. We have a very beautiful guest with us today, joining Ripeka and I. We have Lois Hermann from Lois Hermann and Associates. So it's just so wonderful to spend time with you, Lois. I just love the energy that's created, and just your radiant presence is always such a joy. I'm so excited that you could join us, and I'm looking forward to hearing about all the beautiful stories you have in your library of memory, the journeys that you've taken on, not only yourself but other people as well, that you've facilitated healing sessions for, clearing sessions, and coaching. So if it's okay, I would love for you to give a high level introduction to the work you do and how you do work with people. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm not exactly sure where to start. we were just having a conversation and then ended up having a discussion about Kyoto in Japan. And so, I was born in Japan, so I have a passion for the Orient, for all things international, because I was an Army brat and grew up all over the world. So it's given me a different perspective on life versus people who grew up in one little hometown and never left. It's just, you've traveled and traveled, you get to see people for who they are and really cherish accents and cultural differences and cultural unique things and similarities. So I've long had a passion for international culture. That said, my background is in diagnostics, medical diagnostics, 40 years, and ultrasound. I was a pioneer in that field. So I like to say that because I have a very analytical mind, very logical, analytical mind. I traveled internationally designing and creating ultrasound systems. And then I moved into a house with a ghost. Wow. And that changed my life because I learned how to communicate with ghosts. And now what I do, fast forward through over 30 years, I am what I call as a spirit rescuer. So my team and I identify lost souls. Many times they're just spirits that have died and they're lost. They don't know where to go. And then they end up hanging around the living. We help them to transition into the light in a very gentle and kind and loving way. And we also encounter what I've long called the nasties. They're very real. And the nasties, I now have been able to give them specific names and have identified, I've done a lot of research by way of it. One of my heroes is Columbo. By way of asking lots of questions, I've encountered a lot of reptilians and tall grays and sorcerers, and I feel as if my team that I'm just finishing training with an amazing group of individuals, I tell them it's kind of, our sessions are kind of like Lord of the Rings meets Star Wars. So we deal with galactic energies and entities, and we also deal with interdimensional beings like dragons and fairies. And it is when we start tapping into the great unseen, life becomes magical, mystical, and you just never know what's going to show. So that's a little snapshot of my background and kind of what we do.
That's beautiful, Lois. Thank you for sharing that. You've got a full spectrum view of what's encountering on the planet right now, and as things unfold, as we ascend and increase our frequency and vibration, more and more is being revealed and coming to the surface and able to be worked with and released. And as the timelines converge and we find clear through the density, basically, and unshed as we bring in the new. So it's an incredible position you're in, very, which allows you access to incredible stories and visions. And I was describing to Indy this morning how last time we spoke, you'd encountered some unicorns, and I was trying to describe to Dad as well, because Me personally, I haven't. I know they're there, but I haven't seen any yet. I've seen the dragons, but India was very intrigued about the unicorns because she sees them too. So I wouldn't mind you. Would that be okay? Because she's sitting here next to me and she'll be able to hear
Oh,
speak
yes.
about them. Would that be okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can I come here and listen?
Is she still in her kimono?
Yeah.
Ah,
Okay.
awesome. When we rescue the spirits of lost children, I will often call angels, or I'll ask them, who would you like to come and help you? And so many times they say, I'll give them a choice. We can call Jesus, we can call an angel, or maybe we can call a unicorn. By far, they want the unicorns. So the children, because they've not, their imagination has not closed down, they can see the unicorns. They're very real. When we get older and we lose that magical imagination, we don't see them as much. That doesn't mean they're not there. It's just that we don't see them. So this is why we have to cherish the children who can still see them.
Yeah,
And the unicorns are magical. They're so magical. Yeah.
yeah.
So the unicorns will oftentimes escort the lost children to a place of healing in the light.
Lovely, lovely. And the dragons, of course, too. They've been popping up around this place quite a lot lately, and the energy is just becoming more and more intense in terms of their showing up and assisting us to manifest and bring in the physical manifestations for New Earth. I feel like as the frequencies are just really on board with that, and just. But your work, which is really interesting, is you're assisting with the releasing of them, and they were trapped, weren't they?
Yes, we've released quite a few. We started a couple of years ago identifying a dragon, and it was really angry and spitting fire and doing a lot of damage to people. What I have learned, no matter what the entity is that we encounter, Archangel Michael has admonished me, advised me that we should never judge. We can never judge. We always must ask and give options, because we don't know what happened to that soul. That is not our purview. So this particular dragon, when we lassoed the dragon, captured the dragon, had a conversation with the dragon. I said, you're harming people. And the dragon was very angry. And I said, well, you're going to be taken away, but would you like to save and rescue your soul? And the dragon said, what do you mean? All of a sudden it stopped, it paused. And I said, well, if you reverse what you've done to people, it will go a long way toward you, toward your ultimate outcome. And he said, I can do that. And I said, sure. Now we've given this option to many different types of beings, species, entities. And this particular dragon was curious. So he started pulling back the energy that he'd been throwing at people. And as he pulled the energy back, he transformed. It was, instead of being this dark, angry, bitter, vile dragon, he turned into this magical, glowing, mystical being. And he's like, wow. And then he told us the story. And what had happened to him was he had been, his egg had been captured by a reptilian. And so he was raised by a reptilian. He had never known another dragon. He had been raised to be mean. And once we freed him and allowed him to find his own light, and he transformed into this magical dragon, we called to have another dragon come. So this other dragon comes and they start flirting. It was like another dragon, and they're having this flirty thing going. I'm like, seriously, dragons? They're beings too. And so they've been with them. We've been rescuing the eggs from these down inner earth layers of other nefarious dark dragons or reptilians. And so we've been rescuing a lot of these dragon eggs and young dragons and giving them an opportunity to turn around. And it has been amazing how all of a sudden now we're finding so many dragons coming to help. It's been magical. So
that
one of the things that we've learned about dragons, now you have a dog. So you know that if you have a dog, you're going to take care of the dog. You're going to feed the dog. You're going to, the dragons take care of their human. They're so much more advanced than we are. They not only do they have mystical, magical abilities, they can heal. So they spit or they shed what is called fire, but the fire is not a burning fire. It can be a healing fire. It can be a knowing fire. It can be illumination, different colors for different things. But when a human earns a dragon, you have to earn a dragon. Not all humans get a dragon. So when a human earns a dragon, the dragon then becomes the caretaker for the human. So they're going to keep you protected, give you a heads up if there's something coming. They've been instructed by Archangel Michael, they're not allowed to kill, but they can singe tushes of anyone that's going to try and harm you. They can send them away. So it's been, oh my goodness, what a magical experience learning about the dragons.
Yes. So. It really is, isn't it? Yes. And that the whole elemental, the fae, those kingdoms really also bring in the not just the magical, but the playful, childlike energy that we're returning to, the innocence, the sacred innocence, and they're helping us remember what that is and to be able to share it. And I think that's why everybody's here on this call today, because Indy's here, the dog's here, the cat was even the cat never comes over. So
that's awesome.
To partake in this conversation, this beautiful energy that's here right now. There's something going on, so it's definitely that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And the more people talk about ascension, the more we ascend, the simpler we get. And simple doesn't mean just get rid of everything. Simple means get rid of the mind chatter, clutter, simplify into that sweet, authentic innocence. Just really a treasure.
So,
Remembering
the child.
Indy and her beautiful, beautiful kimono.
Yes.
So
yes, so it's interesting. There seems to be a theme about the child and your childhood in Japan. Maybe we could expand on that. The starseed children.
Coming back to the child energies for sure. Right? We've just had a weekend of that where we come together with our friends and bring our kids together, and we've just been like really talking about how the fact that our kids just play, that they don't like there's not one particular group of like we're talking like 30 kids within our just friendship group. Like it's a big group. And at all vast ages from about 2 down to mine about our oldest around, I think the oldest in our group is about 22, so it's quite a widespread. But they all just play in different ways and come in different groups. And we were talking about like this is how you create community, is that you make them know that it's normal that you've got all these different versions of family, not just one. But the celebration's really centered around the kids and fun and games and make sure we play some cricket with them and all of those sort of things. But us as adults, even like I don't know, some of the people will see that while Lois was talking, I was winking with Indy in the background. That's just what I'm like. I'm usually like that, no matter what how serious our meeting might be. It's not that I'm not listening. It's just that I always have a little bit of a playful edge on things.
Yeah, it's essentially. I'm totally with you. Yeah, there's a time to be serious, but there's also it's okay to be playful. And at the moment we're transitioning through some serious energy, some serious density, but it's so important to remember to laugh and play whenever we can. It just lightens it immediately, and laughter neutralizes the density just like that, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It raises the vibrational energy. The laughter does.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that force our children, we overload our children with information and things that they don't actually need to know is happening in our world necessarily, and it forces them to grow up too fast, way too fast. They should believe. I was at a hairdresser's recently with my son getting a haircut, and this 6-year-old sitting on the seat beside him was telling the hairdresser that magic doesn't exist. And I just thought, oh, you poor thing. Like, I don't, why would you tell your child that magic can't exist? Like, I was like, I'm gutted that you don't know that magic exists. Like, I'm sorry you don't know that fairies are real.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just,
Yeah.
Whereas for my son, my 8-year-old who'd be sitting in a, you know, waiting for his brother to have his haircut, is having a full movie playing in his head of everything that he's doing. You know, all the dragons that he's playing with and all those things. Yeah.
And that, you know, and that's what we need to encourage. One of, I had an opportunity through a series of events as a spiritual-based hypnotist to have Jesus come through as a channel through this gentleman that the different divine beings were channeling through. And what Jesus told me, because I have recall of being there, I have very strong recall of being there at the time of Christ, and was very upset at some of the, you know, like some of the things that happened. Anyway, he told me, he said, you were a child. I asked him, I said, who was I? And he said, you were a child. I think I was maybe around 10 or 11. And he said, I loved it when the children would come, because the children, he said, you danced and played and had flowers in your hair. The children kept things light. They kept the meaning of life. The adults would get way too serious. And we need to hold on to that light energy, that childlike wonder and awe, in order to hold the vibration through. So oftentimes when he comes to my clients in their sessions, that's probably the main theme that he says is, you take yourself too seriously. You need to really cherish the earth. Look at all the beauty around you and laugh and play and enjoy. Be more like a child.
Yeah. Essential message. Thank you for sharing that, Lois. That's so beautiful. And I guess that's what I'm personally building here too. I grew up on this land, and I grew up knowing about the dragons and the fairies and the elemental realms and the star beings and the angelics, and very connected to it. And then I forgot, you know, you kind of residual memory. But then with these last 7 years or so, it's really come back in. So I'm kind of trying to reclaim it and recreate it. So on this land, I want it to become a healing center to reclaim that heart-centered, playful, magical beingness that we all naturally are. And especially for children, like Indy comes out here and just runs around on the grass. There's space to play, there's imagination, creation. And
you're already doing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to reach up, and hopefully I don't crash this, but I want to show you guys something. This was just given to me the other day.
Indy's showing her dragon stick. Oh, what's that?
It's so cool.
Oh, wow. Yeah, look at that.
Adorable.
That's amazing. Where did you find that? Oh.
My dear friend Mary gave this to me. I call him Freundlich, which is friendly in German. So isn't he adorable? And he's all kinds of mobile.
Yeah. I love the
I
way
guess
he
I can
moves
around my neck.
That's it. Yeah. Wow, how incredible.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
And you have a dragon stick, do you, Indy?
We made it.
Yeah, we made it.
Oh, what is a dragon stick? Can you tell us?
We use it to call in the dragons and play with them, don't we? We do little dances, little tribal dances on the lawn. We play in the elements. Yeah.
We put little crystals.
Yeah, they're decorated. It was a very fun exercise. Like, we create a lot of things, like craft days.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I have some good friends who just spent some time in Scotland, and they attended it was a full week. They were there for 2 weeks, but a full week of Celtic healing. And they said it was so different than Reiki, Reiki is calling the energy. Celtic healing was all about calling the energy from the earth. It was
Mm.
all about using the elementals. So it's kind of what you're talking about. So you
Mm.
kind of have best of both worlds, east meets west there, don't you?
Yes, yeah, it feels like that. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
I'd say Māori healing's quite similar. It's a bit of both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm. Or my version of it anyway. That doesn't make it everybody's version.
Yeah. Ripeka, do we want to expand into your center, like what you've created down there? I think that's because we haven't had a chance to do that. Would you like to share? Like,
Well, so actually I'm registered as a practitioner. I'm actually like so we can be recognized as Māori practitioners now. So as a cultural healer. I don't love healer because it's not me, is it? It's a facilitator, isn't it? So we're all facilitating people back to their own healing, finding their own healer within themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to expand on it because honestly, it's the same as everything else. I'm just me, and I just always try to put myself aside as much as I can and just allow it to channel and do what I'm told to do. So yeah, I really, even though I'm classed as a Māori healer, I'm an intuitive healer. I do what my guides tell me. That's my jam. It doesn't matter whether I'm in my clinic or I'm out in the community. I'm always guided by those healing guides to bring my energy wherever it is. But in my own clinic, I do like one-to-one work with people. I do body work and massage, and then usually, like you say, Lois, it's whoever's in the room, whatever needs to be addressed. We might be working with elementals and dragon energies, or we might be working with past relatives. Like it's all just. I probably don't really box it. I'm just here and doing what they tell me, and yeah, that's my jam. That's what I do.
that's
But
beautiful.
everybody, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, I just said that's
What did
beautiful.
you call it? What was the name of the healing you said?
So I would call myself a rongoa practitioner, and so rongoa spelled rongoa, and the A has a macron, a little line above it.
Okay. Yeah.
So that essentially, when I have the macron over it, it means any of the pursuits that bring along peace, calm, and ease. Yeah. A lot of people, when they think of rongoa practitioner, they think of people that work with the plants, with plant medicine and our native plants. So that is an aspect, it's one aspect. And rongoa wairako is working with the plants and the plant vibrations, many different ways. So I use that because I make all my own creams and will treat with the plants if it's physical symptoms and things. But sometimes it's also the energetic messages that they bring through as much as the physical healing that the plants can bring. It's honestly, working with plants is no different to working with any other being, because it's still a being and we still have a relationship here. It's still it is still working with elementals, isn't it? Working with the trees. Yeah, so
world, isn't it?
So that's the mahi. Yeah.
Mm.
It's the work. Yeah.
Definitely.
My passion.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful to see all our hunas because and all the different light workers waking up, because I do little elements of all of these things. And so I don't really need to get bigger. I'm good in my world. My world's big enough here where we are. And so another aspect is I also work with training students as well. We're about to graduate our group next week. And that is mainly within the plant world and learning to know the plants and harness their healing properties, and yeah, which is how our old healers worked.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the original back in before pharmaceutical industry. Everybody used plants and stones and other food and other types of ways of healing.
And I think the plants is our way back. We might be we know we're shifting to the crystalline, but a lot of people need to reconnect to the earth first in order to get there. And like others of our past graduates, that's what they've done. So they've gone through their rongoa journey, and they definitely still work with the plants, but they're also now working with like terahertz technology and
Yes.
frequency healings, and so it's the evolution, it's the path back, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? And back, are you all, I'm sure you all are familiar with the Tartaria, where they had the bells and the frequency that, the church bells would ring or the town bells would ring and keep everybody in a higher state of vibration. And hopefully we're going to get back there.
Yes, we're returning. Yes, the ancients returning in all forms of that word, isn't it? And Lois, you work with a team too, don't you? A team of psychic professionals. Do you mind telling us about the way you work and how you work with the team?
Sure. So as I said, my background is as a hypnotist. So I love doing hypnosis. I love doing one-on-one hypnosis. All of my sessions are now online, which was a blessing via COVID, and moved home, and I've never gone back. So what we found was, because of a lot of the artificially, the toxic, let me just say, the toxic exposure in our environment, people have not been able to see their auras, to tap in. They've not been able to connect so readily. What I discovered is, working with a team of individuals who were able to keep their energy clear, they can read your auras. So we work as a team. So one of us is what we call a navigator. We stay grounded in asking the questions, and then one or two people will be on with the client, looking at the aura, looking to see, is there gunk in the aura? Black goo, hydras, the orange, the graphene oxide, all of that kind of stuff. So we use energetic tools, and everything we do is a teaching, to teach people how to clear their energetic being, with the hope that they'll now be able to start seeing. And then we also clear spirits that are around and identify devices. Many of the devices are now gone. We've been working for several years to clear the devices that were implanted in humans around the world. So our team works to clear. If we identify a device, we work to see if we can clear the devices throughout humanity. So we've been really doing a lot of work on a global scale. And we're seeing people now come through that they have an imprint of where a device was, but it's no longer active. Yet there might still be some devices that are active. Anyway, so our team, we work together to identify and clear, because the mission is to get the light worker to be able to tap into their unique skills, gifts, and talents, like you're talking about, Ripeka, to be able to do what they're called to do, because no two light workers are alike. Everybody has their own calling, and that's by design. We need to celebrate each unique person's gifts and their unique desire to make a difference. And so what my team does is we clear the path, and then we help the light worker to connect with their divine guide. So they're having these amazing conversations with their Arcturian family, or Pleiadian, or Elven, or whatever family that they're here representing. So we love it. And then I typically, after we've done a couple of clearing sessions, we also clear the house, clear the land. We do a lot of clearing. And then I will work with the person one-on-one with hypnosis to shift the mindset, because many times people, if they have had devices and negativity their whole life, they're in this pattern loop of, it's going to happen again. It's, what if it happens again? So then I use the wonderful hypnosis skills to reset the mindset for positive empowerment. And it is magical to see the transformation. So we do that with our clients, and we also meet as a group, and we've been clearing the shadow around the planet for several years. So we've got an event coming up that I would love to invite people to who are interested to join us. This is a pre-solstice event on the 18th. It's 7:00 p.m. Eastern time. So that, what time is that going to be for you guys? That's early. What time is it for you now?
Hold on. It's 9:45 in the morning.
Oh, so that would, you could do that. So 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern, it'd be about 3 hours from now, your time. So anyway, we gather together and travel to clear the shadow and bring in the light. And we've been working with the elementals and the water and the land. And so anyway, we're just calling it a solstice holiday adventure. It's
Awesome.
free. We just want to allow other people to experience this kind of journey work, because we need all hands on deck right now in
Yeah.
order to shift this planet. And I truly believe we're doing it. We are shifting it. We
Yeah.
just more people that gather together, the bigger the light, the more we chase away and shift the old pattern of darkness.
There's so many wonderful groups coming together and doing the
There
same
are.
thing. You know, you meet a new light worker and it's like, I'm part of this group that's doing these things. And it's like, wow, everybody is.
That's a good thing.
If we can stay out of ego,
Yes.
because we all
Yes.
have to, and not go, oh, well, your group needs to join my group because my group's the only way. No. We all have the ways, and all of the groups are correct, because they will all inevitably, eventually, they're all connect. We all see it energetically. We see this energetic connection, and it's like, as you see the energetic net, then we physically manifest it, and eventually all of these groups will join up naturally, because we're just that's what it's like. That's how we're spreading, and we will encircle this beautiful earth.
I totally agree with you. One of the things that the guides, that the archangels said, and so I ended up writing 3 books from this series of sessions, and one of the things that they said is, if someone says theirs is the only way, walk away. There are many paths, and each different person is given a unique information and insight, and then you're to add that to what you know in your heart and mind. And so everybody has their own path, and that's by divine guidance. There's no one way. There are many paths.
Beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
I agree.
100%.
Expressions to be actualized, and that's the point of what we need to do. And then what we're describing is that unity aspect of what we're moving into, no longer separation. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. There's a process though, as we learn.
It totally is. It's hard to keep people. Like, as soon as I check into any lower level vibration, there's division everywhere within my town, within my family, immediately. But I just always have to come back and try and pull myself to hold that higher vision and hope. To bring others.
I was a Course in Miracles follower, student, facilitator for goodness 20 years, and it was all about the ego, letting go of the ego. But one of the channel sessions that I held, this was actually 30 years ago with a different client, the great I Am came through, and he said, the ego is not evil. Ego is what gives you boundaries. Ego defines who you are. It's when you allow the ego to control, that's when there's a problem. You have to use the ego to make sense of things. So you use the ego instead of letting the ego control you. So thinking about it that way, ego is not evil. It's when we tip over and think I'm going to, that it's all about me. That's when it's the ego. So it's when the ego gets too much in control, is when there's a problem.
Yeah, it creates masks, doesn't it? And and going into the heart is about releasing the masks and the control.
Yes.
And what's beautiful is that we've just had a visual metaphor of that play out on the planet, like everything, all the density, all the masks, masks. It's like, there they are, and who's still hanging on to them? And
people in my school are still wearing them.
Oh dear.
I hope they stop soon.
Sign of the times, isn't it? Yeah, we're all
Lots of
just
people. Lots of people.
We'll get there.
Are the children still wearing them in the school? The children are too.
Yeah, the children.
Yeah, so it's an interesting time.
You know what? I changed. I had an opportunity to change my perspective on people who are wearing masks, because my husband just went through cancer treatment, and we were immersed in this whole cancer industry, if you will, in the heart of Boston. And we stayed down there for a month. And the people were fabulous. The caregivers were truly heart-centered. And there was no mask requirement, but a lot of people were wearing masks. And what I came to find is some of the people were so fragile. One man, for instance, the woman, his wife said, I can't bring him home because his immune system is so fragile that my house is not clean enough for him. So the mask was a sign that I'm fragile, be careful around me. So it changed me from blaming, shaming the mask wearers to that's where that person's mind is. That person still feels fragile. So it's a flag. It's a sign that that's where their mindset is, and it could well be a physical thing, but it could also just be where their heart and mind is. So it helped me to get out of that blaming, shaming mode into more of an accepting that's just where they are, and that's okay. And until
just give them a bit of unconditional love as you pass, bit of energy.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. That comes through what they're going through. Because you're right, because it might be physical or it might be energetic.
Yeah. I work with the violet fire a lot as I walk through these areas. Just like to spread it.
Yeah. I mean, we know that there's different cells can pass through the mask, but it's been conditioned for people to wear it for protection. And if that's what they need to protect their energy, then it's okay.
Yeah, like because people don't understand. I put my mask, like I'm protected from any energetic bugs every day, most days, occasionally.
That's right.
You know, but others don't understand that. You know, it's just and for everybody else, isn't it? Everybody just loving them where they're at right now, because that's where they're at, and we can only love them.
And that helps us too. When we come from a place of judgment, blame, or shame, it lowers our vibration. If we can come from a place of acceptance and loving, I saw a documentary that they did a study on the highest level vibration, and many of us think that it's love, but love can be conditional. And in this study, the highest level vibration was authenticity. In other words, just being yourself. And so as we let go of blame, shame, it raises our vibration. And that person is they've got to do what they have to do to raise their vibration. It's not for me. Like you said, I'm not a healer. I'm a healing facilitator for somebody who wants the gifts that I offer. And my job is to keep my vibration high. And by doing that, then I can be more and more authentic, just be myself. And if somebody doesn't relate to me, then that's okay, because then there's other people who do. Okay.
That's right. It's unveiling that truth and love within.
Yes.
And unveiling your true self. Just beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
I love it. It's so sweet.
Beautiful.
She's writing about dragons. She's writing a little story.
Oh, are you?
Do you want to read it?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's dragons are real. They help you see real magical things. Magic. Magically, dragons are real. That's a poem.
Beautiful.
Really well. Really. So, thanks.
Can I see the cover of your book? Roll with it. I love that. That's so sweet.
Message too.
Yes. I love how the roller skates came back into our reality. Did you grow up?
My 8-year-old is
Up with roller skates. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, one of the you were talking about the unicorns. One of the really sad journeys that we went on. We rescued a lost unicorn, and the unicorn said, that there used to be many of us, and there used to be many fairies, and when people came along and got rid of the magic, we all were lost, and we have to bring back the magic. And once we bring back the magic, then we can come back. So exactly what she's reading is we have to bring back the magic in order to bring the elementals back into reality, because they're the ones that are going to help shift Mother Gaia, help shift the energy.
Definitely. I don't know what's getting on. I don't know what's got onto Bear. Like there's something going on with the energy that's here right now. Yeah, magic. I don't know if you noticed him running by back and forth.
Yeah, I see him again. There he goes.
He's chill, but
Well, they're probably all just rejoicing that we're talking about them,
Yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to add on to the how we're clearing the grids, how we're clearing the energy, just having these conversations out loud with our voice into the fabric and yeah, some all having an impact, which I'm so grateful for. So thank you both very much.
And they're grateful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lois, I'd love to put the details of your event that you're organizing down below the video as well.
Absolutely.
Or I wouldn't mind getting hold of those details. And of course your website with access to all the lovely things that you provide and facilitate and help with.
Yeah,
it's simply loishermann.com, and Hermann has 2 N's. loishermann.com. And then the event is on the events page. It's also on the blog, and you can just register right there. We request people register in advance, and it's on the 18th at 7:00 Eastern.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Calling all light workers and star seeds, where you're going to be with like-minded people.
It's something I would love to be a part of. And Lois,
me too. We're hitting that up.
Yeah.
Lois,
is there anything you'd like to leave our viewers with, like any advice or reflections on current energy, or anything you'd like to share?
Sure. I was talking about the reptilians. They're pretty much gone. We're finding rogue ones now. And when we do find them, they'll say, I don't know what happened, but all of my kin are gone. So it's not just my team, like you were saying, Ripeka, there are others that are clearing the energy. There are people who are doing this work. I just want to say that it is being noticed. The shadow is they're confused. There are some rogue ones out there, but we are making a difference. We just have to keep shining the light, keep the positive energy. What we are finding is the sorcery, the negative, the people who are sending anger, hate, and that's what we have to shift from. But we can't fight hate with hate. We have to we have to shift it with love. So we have to keep our energy strong, do what, like you're doing with your beautiful daughter and the animals and the sunlight, and do the healing for yourself. Keep your vibe high, and then stay with others of like mind, because we're creating this ripple effect that is being felt. And Mother Gaia feels it, and the energies feel it. Just keep doing what we're called in our hearts to do. Take some of the stuff that's out there in the media with grains of salt, and just keep sending salt, sending light, and we're shifting it. We're making a difference.
Lovely. Thank you, Lois. And thank you so much for your time today. Just love spending time with you and the energy. And thank you for rolling with it.
This is a fun way to do these conversations, and people just need to know that what they're doing is making a difference, even if it's just saying a prayer. We started a couple years ago. We started 8 at 8. It's 8 o'clock somewhere. So just spend 8 minutes, or think of 8 people to send energy to. And we thought, well, if we just pick it, 8 o'clock, wherever you are, send an energy, send love, send light, then it'll continue. It'll go around or across, whatever the world is. But it'll go around the time zones. So there will be continuous prayer. And that's what we need. The power of prayer is incredible. Keeping the prayer going.
Beautiful message. And thank you for adding that. It's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's say bye.
Bye.
And thank you.
Oh, it's so
Rebecca.
nice to
Lovely
see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks. Nice to chat. Been a while.
Yeah.
And nice to meet you, Lois. Lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, Rebecca. Yeah,
I'll be checking out your website with more depth.
Yes.
Might see you
sure.
soon.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
Bye.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you both. And we'll see you again soon. Sending
Absolutely.
so much love.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.